all we have. So, yeah.
This was my plan.
Okay.
But that's, you know, people showing up, so. So, hi everyone. We are live and here at ASU downtown in our fabulous new digs. This is a cool space. This is a huge conference room. This is Seema, and this will be our meeting space for our learning opportunity. I think it's going to be perfect as far as space goes. It's going to be plenty of room for whoever wants to join us at these amazing learning opportunity events. And so, if you're not aware of what the Pre-Health Integrative Holistic and Quantum Club is, let me just adjust that. We are a student organization at ASU. Right now, all of our officers are actually online students all over the United States. We have officers across the US from Arkansas all the way to Hawaii. So it's a pretty interesting way for us to meet up because we're all in different time zones. But we chose this time because it worked for everyone, as you can see. So our fourth Tuesday of every month is going to be a learning opportunity event, and the overall, like the overreaching goal of the learning opportunities is to give everyone who comes to these meetings an opportunity to see and hear what it's like to be a holistic or quantum practitioner out in the world. And so we started with Reiki because I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I fully believe that quantum medicine is something that we need to have more conversation about. We need to bring it more into the forefront. And speaking with different practitioners around here, I've heard that there is actually a little resistance in the hospitals to have Reiki.
Yeah.
So I would love to start that conversation again and get people understanding that it is a modality that really does help people. And so the more that we can get it out there, the more it's going to make an impact for our community, especially the people that are hurting the most, that really need the therapy, because it really does help. So I put a little blurb on the invitation on Sun Devil Sync that our Reiki panel discussion was going to be with 3 Reiki practitioners, but we actually had 2 of them. Both had family emergencies right at the last minute. So thankfully Seema was able to join us. So we'll just have a lovely conversation with Seema and go from there. So I left some space at the very beginning for our officers and club members to have a conversation, but seeing as no one is with us just yet, I'm hoping that people will join us as the time goes. The meetup is available on, it's an email, and it's available on the website, it's available through Facebook, and so people will find the link and join us. I've had that happen a couple times where people kind of trickle in throughout the time. So that happens, but yeah, this is going to be an interesting conversation. So, I guess if you'd like to just start with an introduction.
Yeah. So everyone, hello. My name is Seema Kapur, and I'm an occupational therapist as well as Reiki teacher and also mindfulness teacher. And I have worked in healthcare for 27, 28 years. My Reiki journey started in 2005. I initially learned that in India because I wanted to help my daughter. She has autism. She's 20 years old now. So initially, this is how it started. So I did my Reiki training there. You know, I would go there once a year or twice a year, and that's when I finished it. And I started to integrate with her when she would have tantrums and behaviors, and also a little bit with my patients in the hospital, mainly for pain. So like if they have like a pain issues going on as well as stress. So I slowly started to integrate that way, you know, um, and as a relaxation, and I saw a lot of benefit. It really helped me to get their cooperation, work with them. So I was just like really excited about it. But I was just not able to help myself that much because I was stressed, was going through depression, and also my daughter would not accept Reiki as much as other people would. And so that was kind of, you know, I was frustrated. So a lot of things shifted in my practice in year about 2010. And that's when I started to look for different ways to help myself, empower myself. So I started to look at meditation, mindfulness, and that's when I restarted my Reiki training from a very traditional, you know, perspective where you work on yourself first. So my journey then started, you know, from there, and I became more stronger, you know, more happier, more able to help my patients because that kind of integrated. So some of the things, you know, you were talking about hospitals, and of course I am in a healthcare field, but I definitely see the struggle every day, that resistance. Yeah. And I definitely, I mean, I have seen improve, like difference in people, and because like, for example, I worked in acute care setting for about 9 years, 9, 10 years. And most every single one, you know, because they go through surgery or if they have cancer or those kind of issues, and they will come from OT and they can't breathe and holding their breath. They're very anxious and very scared and fearful. And I would just say very simple, you know, it's not even a meditation, but simple deep breathing. But most of the time, if you go, you know, and talk to healthcare providers, they will say, oh, just deep breathe, but they won't tell you how to deep breathe. Mm-hmm. Deep breathe, you know, people who have breathing issues, they have no idea how to deep breathe. They, you know, kind of hyperventilate. So my background, you know, my training in mindfulness meditation really helped me to help them. And I could see the difference right away. They're breathing deep and their oxygen saturation is increasing from 85 to all the way 92. And so so I started to integrate that way, you know, and some of them would just do it. I said, come on, just do this as a, you know, a practice. And so it would depend upon, you know, some people would be wanting to learn more about mindfulness and meditation, so I will give them more tools. Some people who wouldn't do it, then they will do as exercise. Mm-hmm. You know, so you kind of adapt that way. You don't have to, you know, because a lot of times I think what happens is we get carried away. We think we need to have a certain posture, we need to lie down, we need to have this, you know, bells and whistles, otherwise we can't do it. But that's not really true.
It's not true.
You know? So I mean, I started to integrate, and then same thing happened with my daughter. She started to accept, you know, more healing from me because I was, you know, grounded and centered. I was not afraid. So that started to, it was just, you know, you're talking about quantum energy. It's just like everything is energy. If you are grounded and you are whole and your energy is, you know, very clear, I mean, and maybe that's not even the right word, but you know what I'm saying, then whoever is in your surroundings will feel the same, because it's not like there's not a wall between you and the other person, or right. This wall or this laptop. Everything is just there.
Yeah.
And then so like it just kept on going, and then I thought, okay, I just need to go a little bit further. And so now I'm completing my training to be a mindfulness teacher, to work with children.
Right.
So that's in short my story.
Wonderful. Well, I'll share a little bit of my Reiki story. I let's see, in 2014, I graduated with a holistic health degree, and that was from Ventura College. When I was at that college, I actually encountered about 20 different modalities that I'd never experienced before, just because of this program that I went through. And there was this class called Holistic Movement. It was a great class. We had yoga, Pilates, a little bit of Feldenkrais, which kind of opened my mind about how we move and how we hold our bodies in ways that are kind of against ourselves. We didn't even know that we hold our bodies in the wrong ways. But we learn from the people that raise us how to interact with each other and how to move, how to, like, crossing your legs is a habit that you learn as a young lady, you know. So there's so many things that I learned in that class. And there was a day where I was having some pain, and one of the other students came up to me and said, I know Reiki, would you like to try it? And I was open-minded because I had been exposed to so many other things. I was like, sure. And we did it standing. She came behind me and told me to open my third eye and gave me Reiki energy. And it was the first time I'd experienced anything like that. And the first time that I really felt energy flowing through my body that wasn't my energy, that came from someone else as a gift. And it just blew me away. It really helped. You know, it took my pain away. I relaxed. I had a wonderful day the rest of the day. So that was my first exposure to Reiki. Beyond that, I was always really sensitive. Throughout my childhood and early adulthood, I could feel other people's energy and pain, a lot of emotional pain. It seems like that's what I'm most sensitive to, is emotional energy. And so I learned about empathy and being an empath. What does that mean? But when I started to understand that there's an actual modality around energy, that maybe there was more to it than just being able to feel people's energy. Maybe there was more depth to it. And so in 2015, I met Kelly Schwegel. She was my teacher, and she invited me to Reiki 1. And one of the first things that she said that she wanted us to do was a 21-day chakra cleanse. And at the end of that first training, the first attunement, I went online, looked for 21-day chakra cleanse, and I couldn't find it. I looked and looked and looked, and I just couldn't find any kind of guidance. She told us to just spend a few days at a time on each chakra, examining, meditating, and listening, and practicing Reiki, bringing the Reiki energy to that chakra. So I designed a program, and I put it all on paper. I journaled the entire thing, and I found a lot of unresolved issues that were in the different chakra systems. So I had root issues were my living situation, moving up my chakras. I was raped at 15. My sacral chakra, I was still holding on to that emotional energy in my sacrum. Going up to my solar plexus, I felt like I wasn't using my voice. And I wasn't following my own intuition. And so that was the cue that I got from my solar plexus, to trust my own intuition, trust myself. My heart space, I had, past traumas from old lovers and things that had hurt me, especially the one that raped me. And then there was the throat chakras, you know, being able to use your voice, but being able to speak your truth is a whole other conversation. And then just moving up through like the third eye chakra, what I heard from my own chakra system was that I was blocked. I wasn't allowing my own intuition to come through. I was on purpose blocking energy. And I think it was that, you know, this is years ago, but I do think that it was because I was an empath and I've always been sensitive. I think that I was blocking because I didn't want other people's energy. I didn't want to absorb other people's emotions.
Fear-based, yeah.
Yeah. And then the crown chakra, as soon as I opened up and realized how powerful Reiki was, there was nothing that could stop me. I proceeded through the training, and really what ended up stopping me in the training, because I'm not yet a master Reiki practitioner, so I can't teach others yet. I have one more training to go. What ultimately stopped me was life. I ended up kind of life shifted and took me away from Kelly and moved me to Arizona. So here I am. And well,
when the time comes, then teacher appears, student appears. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my story. I feel that Reiki has been a powerful thing for my life. I think that I'm going to shift a little bit here. I think that the most interesting thing about learning Reiki was that I was able to get in tune with deeper parts of myself that I wasn't willing to look at before. So it was almost like, you know, they say it's like peeling an onion. And that's really what it was like. It was going through all of my depth and really getting to know myself, and doing that through my 30s really kind of opened me up to quite an awakening. And so
yeah, that's what it is, you know. First work on yourself before you can help others. And I mean, when I was 13, I had started to develop fear of dogs. I used to love dogs, and then I had a series of incident happens that I saw dogs biting. So I started to develop fear when I was 13 years old, 12 or 13 maybe. And it continued, and it became so bad. Like, even if I would see a puppy over there, I would just change my way and like really, really scared. So when I started doing meditations and really working and looking within, I had series of like incidents started to happen in my life, and where that pain just fell away. And I was 42 at that time when I started to work on my fears of process of it. Right. I mean, it was very interesting because when that was happening, when I was shifting, I had to see a patient for a hand injury in the hospital, and she had a very bad nerve injury because she was trying to stop a dog fight. And I had to go there and see her, and I was just, you know, saying, wow, this is it, you know. I have to really see, am I over it? Am I over it? So I was supposed to, you know, take out the bandages and teach her exercises and everything, and also support her so she's not fearful. So I think that was a very, very special moment for me, you know, you can say, to heal myself. So I, you know, being an occupational therapist and seeing the benefits of how these things clear your fear, your worry, your anger, you know, and how it can complement the traditional medicine, it's just amazing. Because of course, You know, I mean, there's another incident, you know, because my daughter has autism, she's nonverbal, and they do a lot of self-stem behavior as well. So there was a time, it's been a few years ago, she would get dryness, you know, when the weather changes, and then she kind of rubs herself. And at a time came, she rubbed herself so much that all her skin peeled off, like really, really bad. And there was just nothing we could do. We took her everywhere, and the pediatricians, you know, we started to put like a straight jacket on her, put her hands behind because she was just doing it. And they basically said, you know, I don't know, we'll have to do a wound care, but then she does not keep anything on. And that's when I was just like, I was just helpless. There was just nothing, because no matter what you apply on her, she wouldn't stop. During that time, then I started to do Reiki sessions with her, as well as I asked my teacher that time. And he did healing for about 4 days. She stopped doing that. Just like magically, and she had been doing it for so many weeks, so she stopped doing it, and then of course the medicine helped. So what I found, I mean, this is just one incident, what I find is that it's not like you're not really curing anything, but you're supporting, you know, those kind of things, whether they are preconceived ideas, you know, or whether they are our anger and worry or all those kind of things. When you bring that in balance, then the traditional medicine works. You know, I mean, if nowadays people are doing all these research on these monks, you know, how their brain works, and as well as, you know, depression is on rise. And why depression is on rise nowadays, you know, I mean, it wasn't like that so many years ago. It was because now we are so much not in connection with the nature, you know.
Or each other.
Yeah, exactly.
We're connected to our devices.
Exactly. Here we are.
Yeah.
It is the truth, you know. I mean, you know, they say if you're not connected to nature, you are not connected to each other, you know.
It's true.
So so I thought I heard something. Is that
was I plugged my phone in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe somebody
realized I realized that I forgot to plug it back in. Well,
yeah.
So I put together some questions for our panelists. Let's see, we already did our introduction. How long have you been a practitioner? We covered that. Who do you primarily serve? So when you are practicing Reiki, who is your
so right now, yeah. So right now, I'm still as an OT. I work with home health and outpatient work in assisted living setting, and as well as I practice Reiki on site. So my clients are children as well as adults, but my focus right now is more on meditation and mindfulness, because, and Reiki I think is also a mindfulness modality too. If we see, you know. So right now, I'm planning to do some case studies on children, on effects of mindfulness. So my client base is that, but my vision really is to kind of integrate more into the mindfulness aspect of it, and really make it full time. And it all starts from awareness, and this is why when I saw this opportunity, you know, I decided to come, because this is how we educate, and because no one from outside is going to come, we have to do it. So that's pretty much what it is, and I'm doing it since 2005.
Right, I've been practicing officially since 2016. Was when I really started practicing Reiki. My clients, it seems like they just show up. The ones that need the Reiki show up in my life. I haven't really promoted it as much as I would like to. One of my intuitive hits that I got when I first moved here was find Reiki circles. There's one in Chandler that I located that I signed up for on Meetup, but they meet on Wednesdays on the same night that we have our club meeting, so I haven't been able to join them. So maybe I should start one.
Yes, that's what it is. Don't do it here. It's so confusing.
Not an issue.
I'm just laughing because I was just moving around for half an hour and I was just laughing. I say, oh well, if I won't find, I'm just gonna have fun.
I'm glad you found it. Okay, so let's see. What drew you to the practice of Reiki originally and why? So you mentioned that you first studied in India.
Yeah, it was due to because I wanted to help my daughter who has autism, and so I did my training. I started doing in 2005. I did my level 1 and level 2. So I used to stay there, for a couple of months at a time. She used to get her Ayurvedic natural treatment there. And then in 2008, I did Reiki teacher training from India only. My plan really was not to teach or anything. It was just to help my daughter. And it just happened that one of my client actually insisted to learn. So that's how it started. And that's when I really started to look like if I have to teach, for me, teaching is like, it's very different than, when you do teach, you have just a different responsibility. So when I started to make the curriculum for teaching, that's when I found a very traditional way of Reiki where you do meditations. It's not just hands-on healing. There are just different tools that I found, mantras and chants, and it's all about self-empowerment. So since 2011, I started to do more traditional stuff, and that really helped me. And when it helped me to be not a very bitchy.
Yeah.
So, and that really helped everyone. That helped my daughter because now if she has a meltdown, I'm not like getting all out of shape and not getting stressed. So that really changed everything for me. Yeah, that's how it all started. Yeah.
Let's see. So you mentioned that you've practiced a little bit in an allopathic setting.
Yeah, in a very not in an informal way. It was not like I was getting clients.
Right.
I was just integrating in my OT practice.
Right. So please share one of your most or least favorite experiences.
Oh, like
with one of your clients. Yeah.
Any client, right?
Any client.
I mean, I just think that we learn from every experience. So I don't, I'm not sure.
Nothing stands out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say least favorite. I think for me, whenever I do sessions, it is always teaching comes in between. Because for me, I think what we need to do is when we are doing a Reiki session, we want to give them tools so they are empowered.
Yeah.
And it's not like they shouldn't feel that they're dependent on you. Of course, they will come for session and whatnot, but you want to give them something. So I generally give them like, okay, you can do this practice. It's a little bit breathing. If something happens, you're stressed, or just put your hands, because really, this is our birthright to heal ourselves. So and so many times, because I love to teach, so I had several of my clients who actually became my students. So for me, they all are very special that way.
That's
because
wonderful.
Yeah. And least favorite, I don't think anything is least favorite. For me, the most is really my daughter. When she started to rub, I am so grateful for this practice for it, because none of the allopathic medicine really could help her. So for me, whenever somebody say that, I said, that's it. That's my daughter is my teacher and my client.
That's great. That's great. Let's see. I have a favorite experience with Reiki. When I was in California, I had an ongoing coaching client. I do transformation coaching. And one of the things that I offer, well, two of the things that I offer my transformation clients are yoga and Reiki as a complement to the coaching. And I had a client named Michaela, and she was such a sweet girl. She was 24 years old. She had a 4-year-old living with her mother, who was really challenging. And she was having some real issues. She was also extremely intelligent. She was a physics major, very smart girl. And she came to me originally because she wanted to get out of depression. She was taking some psychotropic drugs, and she wanted to stop taking the drugs and learn some life skills so that she wouldn't have to deal with drugs in her system anymore. She didn't like feeling blocked the way that the drugs made her feel. And so I worked with her over several months, and my very last session with her was a Reiki session. And so one of the things that we talked about is the chakras. She wanted to understand the chakras. And so I told her that I would guide her through her chakra system as I did the Reiki practice. And so we started with the root chakra, and each chakra, I gave her some understanding of what the chakra was and how it, what it controls in your life, and the different organ systems that are around that chakra. And so as we went through the chakras, she started to feel lighter. This is one of the things that being an intuitive and being, able to feel other people's energy, I can tap into my clients and feel where they are emotionally. I can feel where they're blocked in their chakra systems, and I can feel, I get intuitive hits from their higher self or their spirit guides that come through as we're doing the session. So I had messages for her as we went through the sessions. And so over the time that we were together, she was able to get off the drugs. She was able to learn some skills on how to deal with her stress. She got into an internship at her college and was really thriving. By the time we got to the end, when we did the Reiki session, she said that it was one of the most powerful experiences that she'd ever had, and it changed her life. After that session, things started to really open up for her. She was able to move through all of her challenges a lot more easily, and she was able to be a mom more easily. She was a very young mom, but it made it so it was an easier task for her. And I ended up seeing her about a year later, and she looked amazing. She was completely in her bliss, and it was such a good thing. But she was my favorite client of all of them.
Yeah, it really helps, when somebody is empowered and you see them stronger in their lives. Yes.
Totally inspirational. Okay, so my next question, do you have business partnerships with other physicians or holistic or quantum practitioners?
Not yet. I don't have partnership, but my hope is, after, because I want to do a research study next year, which will also include Reiki and mindfulness. Okay. And so I kind of want to expand it in a more broader way where, because I'm passionate since my daughter is my teacher, and so I'm passionate about, not that I don't want to include anyone else,
Sure.
but that population, because they are all. But I just kind of want to give what I have received from universe for me. So the experience of, being an OT and Reiki teacher and mindfulness teacher and a mom, because my daughter is 20 now, and so I've learned a lot of lessons. So now it's the time that to give it back. So that's where one of the challenges we talked about it, how it is, people still have a lot of myths surrounding uh, Reiki, like it's, it has a placebo effect or this and that, all those. Some studies have been done, but I think we need to have more as well. So this is one of the reasons. I mean, right now it's just like I have approached a school and it is very difficult. It's not impossible, but it is not that easy, what I realized, um, to get people on board.
Sure.
For that, even though I am a OT and
sure, you got credentials.
Yeah, still people have doubts about it. Yeah. So but I'm very positive because things are changing. People like yourself, and you have this club. Obviously they want to learn, they want to know more. That's why they're here. So I think things have been moving than when I first started in 2005. So I'm hoping, this will change. So that's one of the reasons I want to do a research study to help people. Like, okay, this is not something. It's just words. Hey, there you go. There is some. It's because sometimes it's difficult for energy people. How you going to explain, right? The only way is by experiencing it.
Yeah.
And for that you need a little bit of open mind, to even experience, to even try. But I think we first need to explain in simple words, in the words they can understand. Because if it makes sense intellectually, then maybe people will say, okay, it kind of makes sense. Who doesn't want to be, pain-free or anger-free or worry-free? So yeah, that's where I am, and I feel that it's people who are in healthcare field, and if they are in holistic field, I think it's more of their responsibility to come forward. Okay. So I guess this is my time. I mean, for me, because I had my challenges too, taking care of my daughter, and so yeah, excited.
That's great. Let's see. Well, let's see where we're at with time. It is 38. So we are on Zoom right now, and Zoom cuts us off at 40 minutes.
Okay.
So what that means is either we continue the conversation on a different recording, or we stop here.
Yeah, it's just me and you, so it's like we don't.
Well, let's see. Any last minute thoughts then, or do you want to keep going? What do you think, Seema?
What do you think? It's our first
meeting. We have a lot to talk about, and we have the room until 8:30, and it's only 7:50.
Yeah, I'm open to whatever you decide.
Okay. Well, we're gonna sign off and come back in just a minute. Let's see.